Let's talk about some real women. Valentina Shevchenko.
What an amazing fight.
And beautifully said, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank
By the
you,
way,
guys.
she did run out of a little bit of gas by round 4, and that's where Joanna seemed to do well. But Joanna just, again, as no disrespect to her, she's so fast and she's such a good striker. She was afraid to throw head kicks because she got grabbed and taken down. She also, she's not. It doesn't seem like she's hitting hard enough to knock anybody out. Then again, neither did Valentina. But she's good for volume, but she does not seem to be hurting anybody.
No.
Yeah, I think you could see a power difference, especially early, which I think is why Valentina probably tired out a little bit. I mean, it's not like she was exhausted, but there was a difference between the first couple of rounds versus the last couple of rounds. But you can tell when Valentina throws. I mean, there's a lot of force
And
behind
it's the
those
first.
shots,
It's the first time that Joanna fought at flyweight.
125, yeah.
Right.
And she jumped down, though.
What's that?
Didn't Valentina go down?
Yeah, but this is more. Yeah, she did, but this is really what she went. I mean, this is like her class.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. This is what I was impressed with. I thought that the ground wouldn't make much a difference at all because nobody's able to really hold on to Joanna down there. She's so wiry. But I was super impressed when Valentina got her down with her near side underhook, Jimmy. Her near side underhook. That's why she wasn't able to escape. That's why she was able to hold her down the way she did. And I was super impressed with that. What I mean by that is when she was across her side, she had her arm had an underhook on the near side, not the far side. And it makes such a difference with the control, you know? So I was just super impressed with it. And I didn't see that playing a big part going into it. And then I was wrong, and she ended up getting out and getting up eventually, but man, Valentina, very smart.
Yeah.
And the takedowns were very smooth. And I mean,
Her spin kick to the body.
Oh,
Anything better than
man.
that?
nasty.
she has such great timing on her counters. And she was not going to be denied that night, man. They both went in there with confidence, but Valentina, I mean, she's never even when she's got beat by Amanda Nunes, she only got outpointed, and she was winning that third round in the first fight. Second fight was a toss-up.
Yeah. Right.
This girl is an absolute beast. I can't say enough about
Shows you how
Valentina.
good Amanda is, too.
Yeah,
Shows you
for
how
sure.
fucking good Amanda
And
is.
God, I was praying for a submission so bad.
Why? I
Which
knew.
one? What?
With Valentina, because
Oh,
I had Valentina by third round submission, and Matt was like, "You were making fun of me last week," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, please, Valentina."
I had Valentina by decision, I believe.
Yeah, so you guys both had Valentina by decision, so you get the full 3 points, and
Yes,
I had
we do.
Valentina by third round
So
submission.
what you need to say is 9 points for Daddy.
Yes, 9 points for Daddy. Fine.
If you're daddy, what am I?
You're houseboy.
I don't like that.
You wear a loincloth and help around the house.
I don't like that. I got abs now, though, Jimmy.
By the way,
I'm just
after
trying
the-
to picture me in a loincloth.
After the fight, Valentina was saying, she wants to stay active. She's like, I'm not the type of person that's just going to show up and show off the belt to the media. Like,
Dude,
no,
I
want to stay
she's
active.
got a fucking gun tattoo on her hip.
Yeah, she's
she
a monster.
wants, what does she
badass.
want her to do? Look, her sister, man, they're badass. And Joanna's awesome. So, hey, she's going to be back.
Oh, yeah.
She's going back home to Poland, and she said she's going to go visit her family and this and that and sleep in her bed and let her go get recharged, come back. I'll always watch her fight. She's awesome.
And the main event, too, one thing, Ortega went in at 14-0. He's undefeated. And if you're going to have your first loss,
Wow, man.
there's no better way to do it than to, first of all, the guy was just not going to stop fighting. He was absolutely going to fight the fifth. He did not quit. And a doctor stopped it. And he was obviously his eye was in some kind of, danger. He could probably hardly see out of it. There's no better scenario for you to lose your first fight than to the champion like that.
Oh, in an all-out war, yeah, where you win the round before the round you lose. I mean, Ortega won that third round, I thought.
You know what's awesome about that is, yes, Ortega came back in that third round with some well-timed, well-placed counters and stuff. But wow, Max. What about him getting up and going to Rogan and them, going to Joe Rogan? Yeah, I'm going to end it now, guys.
Fourth round.
And he fucking did it.
Yeah.
And and not only that, he came out like a man possessed in that fourth round. Holy shit. It was like, it's not that he took the third round off, but, that could have been Brian's round.
Yep.
But then he came back in that fourth round and just unleashed hell. He unleashed fury. I cannot get over his accuracy. He's so accurate, man. It's like he reminds me somewhat of a Diaz brother, where it's just the volume. But man, I mean, he just gets stronger as the fight goes on. He's relentless. I'll tell you, I would love to see him fight Conor McGregor again. I mean, they had a fight, a decent fight the first time.
Decision, right?
It was a decision.
Yeah.
But like, man, what he gets Conor past he goes past a couple of rounds with Conor. He's going to be pouring that shit on. Like,
he doesn't get tired. Like, he just stronger. Doesn't slow down.
No, it's absolutely
That's
crazy.
That's gotta suck for the other fighter.
Here's a couple of, and you could see it too. I mean, Ortega's as game as they come, and this like Max, I said, takes nothing away from him, but he just was overwhelmed.
Did you see Max walking out to that thing?
Yeah,
calm, cool, enjoy. Talk about a guy that's happy to be there.
Oh my God, how many punches did he land? Can you read that first stat? Holy shit!
So that's total strikes landed. Max landed 614 total strikes.
And I was talking to Longo about this because I'm kind of concerned for Brian's longevity in this sport. Longo's like, he's rolling with a bunch. And I know he was rolling with a bunch, but he took a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say he rolled with half of them, and he's still 300-something punches.
He took more punches in that fight than I've taken in my life.
Yeah, by like
by 600.
Yeah,
by
610. No, I'm kidding. But Jimmy, I mean, it was in a performance that is just it leaves you in awe.
580 significant strikes. I mean, Max Holloway was.
This is the round. He called it that fourth round. And then when it didn't happen, he goes, maybe next time, guys. And then they didn't. Then they stopped it. So he basically did what he said he was going to do.
Right.
And that to me is just wow.
And Ortega looked really good, but he was just fighting someone who was giving a masterful performance. But I thought Ortega looked really, really good, and he was landing hard shots. When he landed some really good shots. He did hurt Max a couple times. But just he couldn't match the speed.
I thought the jiu-jitsu. I thought, all right, Max, you can say arguably, but I thought he had the real edge on the feet, which obviously was so. Yeah. I mean, now it's obvious, but before that, you're like, oh man, but Ortega, he landed on Frankie and he did this and that. But I thought one slip up, and Brian gets a clinch and he gets him around the neck. Anything, it could be over.
Yeah. Well, he tried. They didn't try to pull him
a couple of times. Yeah. But Max, masterful. And it shows you the difference. If they were to roll in an academy, just do some jiu-jitsu, I'm sure Brian would most likely have his way. But it's not a jiu-jitsu fight, and it's not a grappling match, and it's not, and not that Brian fights like that. He doesn't. But Paul Felder mentioned it earlier, the wrestling aspect. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Where that's the one area where if he picked it, because he's good he's got really good stand-up, got good power, got good well-timed counters, good accuracy. I'm talking about Brian Ortega. Yeah. And he has phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Maybe a little bit more with the wrestling, a little bit more, just to put that where you want it. Because you got to think, man, his fight with Moicano was close too, until Moicano shot in on him. That was a close fight. I forgot who was winning that.
Yeah, I think
that was very close.
I think it was probably 1-1 going into the
and then Moicano made the one mistake by shooting in.
Right.
So Max had to be perfect, and man, did he deliver! I mean, it was just so. I was just so like, I was blown away. And leading up to it, and also you got to understand, a while ago, like over 5 years ago, Max Holloway fought Dennis Bermudez and lost.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, man, Dennis, had some wrestling and he got in on him. And if Dennis could do that, I'm trying to put it in. And I remember leading up to this, Max was saying, people talk about my fight with Conor or whatever, the old Max lost also to Dennis Bermudez. And I'm a different guy now. I'm a different Max Holloway.
Yeah.
And man, do I believe him.
Yep.
It's easy to say that, but holy man, he's just a different guy now. These battles, just his fight IQ, his skill set, his endurance. I can't wait to see what's next for him and who's fighting him next.
He was just incredible. I still want to see Frankie get a shot. I mean, I
oh, wow. I would too. I mean, styles make fights. The way Frankie blends it together, that would be. And, hey, the one thing Max does not have Frankie beat on is, well, a couple of things, is fight IQ and endurance. So that would be...
To watch these two fucking Terminators who don't get tired.
Right.
Hey, look, he fought Brian and he's fought Jose twice. Frankie has to be next if he's healthy. Who's that?
Who did Frankie... It was Frankie's... That was his last fight?
Frankie's last fight, he beat Cub Swanson.
Oh,
like I said, he bounced back quick from the Ortega fight and then beat
Cub. Yep.
Man, listen, Frankie... deserves it more than anybody, right? I mean, Frank, I would love to see that.
That's
I don't know if they wanted to give him a fight first or whatever it is, but man, you got my money, and Frankie's such a legend. I mean, look what he's done with the sport. How could you?
Nobody would argue with that. Right?
Nobody would argue.
You know, it'd be a fun fight too. It'd be Max against Yair Rodriguez when the time is right for that. Because I think that'd be a very interesting matchup.
Like Yair, listen, that would be interesting, but he's got to show a little more because he did have an awesome fight with Korean Zombie, which he was down in the cards until he landed that fucking spectacular elbow.
You're right, he was.
So he was down in the card, so he needs to show a little bit more, and he shouldn't be getting that in front of Frankie.
No.
Yeah,
He's ranked. What is he ranked? Yair? He's way down. He's 12th.
Right.
I mean, there's probably a couple of guys ahead of him. Like Jeremy Stevens. Yeah. There's a couple of guys ahead of him.
Well, and Aldo's back in the mix. I mean, I know you're not going to like immediately put him against Max, but he's
you can't do that.
But
he is back in the conversation more so than Yair Rodriguez.
I guess
Let's see him fight Ortega. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
That's really interesting. There's so many good fights, Jimmy, and we get to talk about it.
I don't think that's as interesting. I'll tell you why. Because again, when Jose can't throw kicks, he's a good boxer. But I don't think he's good enough to keep Ortega off him, and I don't think he's going to be throwing a lot of kicks fighting Ortega. I don't think that's as great a matchup. I mean, even though Jose is a black belt, I think Ortega wins that, and I would give him in the second.
Here's a couple of Max Holloway records that he set after this weekend. He's now tied with John Jones, George St. Pierre, and Mighty Mouse for the second longest win streak in UFC history, 13 in a row. And that's after you were saying Dennis Bermudez and Connor. He hasn't lost since then, 13 straight. Anderson Silva obviously 16, has the record with 16. Max set a new single fight record for significant strikes landed, which was 290.
Yes, I think he landed more than the rest of the card combined.
Yeah, and a new single round record for significant strikes landed, 134 in the fourth round. And then Max became the all-time significant strikes landed leader. He's at 1,627. He moved ahead of Michael Bisping and Frankie Edgar.